I hear you're the model today.
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna get it, but I'll try.
Well, the big thing is I mean, I could stumble through whatever, but look at the warm-up's the worst part. Like, I can't wall walk, you know. If I come down in the wrong position, I'm just gonna tear my hamstring. And Turkish get-ups, yep, no way.
Yeah, no.
Not just an excuse either. It's realistic. It's not gonna happen today. But
I wanted to bring your fucking kettlebell and I forgot.
Oh,
yeah. Anyway, the end of that statement. To put weight on it isn't bad, but I did for a long time, and then I had like afterwards. How you doing, Doc? I froze him. I hear him. There we go.
There is.
Morning.
He's
Morning.
setting up in his driveway.
I'm sure Jen's doing this WOD today too, right? This is right up your alley.
Yeah. Can't wait.
This is also a good one for Doc because it's named after some old school music. A little Eric Clapton got them old walking blues this morning.
Oh my God.
Around for my shoes.
Oh, that's funny.
Anybody? All right, so
No.
I kind of got it.
we got some walking back and forth. It's really just lapping, doing weird, different things. So it's 25 foot. It's a handstand walk. My order might be wrong, but I think it's handstand, lunge walk, bear crawl, gorilla walk, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Side gorilla walk. It'll basically look like how Teresa does her bear crawls. So we'll touch on that stuff when we get
Broad jump, gorilla walk.
broad jump gorilla walk. What did I say?
Bear crawl. Wrong B.
Yeah, bear crawls there as a sub to the handstand walk. That's where I was on. Mindset today. I found this and made me giggle to start. Be humble, be hungry, and always be the hardest worker in the room. Jen, who said that?
I am the hardest worker.
No, but who said the quote? Like,
He's a teacher.
Oh,
one of your
hang
favorite-
on. I'll get it. Ah! Who is
Michael
it?
Jordan. Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan?
Nope. That's a good guess, but no. I think you're one of your favorite people in the room. Your co-star in an animated show that came out 2 years ago.
The Rock.
The Rock. There you go.
Oh!
Doc beats Jen to the quiz.
Now he said that?
That is a Rock quote. So
Wow, I got to rewatch the movie right now.
that's weird because I only thought his only quote was, "Can you smell?" Rock. In the warm up today, we've got 3x4 wall walks with shoulder taps. We'll touch on what that is, and then 5 Turkish get-ups. That's it. That's the whole warm up. So really, you can take that at whatever pace you want. Number one, number two, you can switch it out. Like if it's too exhausting to go through those wall walks all in a row with the taps, do one, do a get-up. Do one, do a get-up. Whatever works best. It's really just the total accrual of the work that we're looking for. So for the wall walk, my non-injured model here is going to walk up our garage wall here. So
Is that Vanna White?
from a push-up position, she reaches high up the wall. She's going to walk as close to the wall as she can. This right here, we want to get out, right? Don't let that arch happen. Cool? Perfect. Then slowly walk back. Watch, you got nails on the wall. So flop down. And just like that. So the only thing that we missed
Well done.
is shoulder tap. You ready to do a couple shoulder taps in that position? So real quick before she starts that, like I was saying, a prime example on these wall walks, we want to get as close as humanly possible. But on that first take, she went, I'm reaching for the target, which we don't want to do because we don't want hollow to become an arch. So we want to make sure that we maintain that hidden butt posture as we kind of walk up. Still get as close as possible, but not by cheating, right? By just getting there on the walk. That's the most transferable skill. Yeah, but you don't want to pad it. Remember that reference. So what this is going to be is she walks up and then gives me 4 shoulder taps, and then slowly and controlled walks back down, and that's 1. So it's 3 times that.
Good Lord.
Walk up, tap, 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 walk down, that's 1. We don't want 3 of those. The other part of this is 5 Turkish get-ups. So,
I remember.
you want to lie on our filthy yoga mat.
I thought that was the pattern.
If you've got a weight, that's great. If not, you can use a shoe. So what Kristen's going to do is put that shoe all the way in the air, have that same leg bend, right? And then that other arm's going to be at a 45-degree angle, and you're going to punch up to the ceiling. So just try to sit up and punch that shoe up as high as you can. Perfect. Raise your hips up high. Great. Kick the straight leg underneath. Get into a nice lunge position. Stand up. Go ahead. Stand up. And then reverse the process. Step back into a lunge. Lean down with the hand. Kick that leg straight. And controlled back to the earth. Right? 5 of those. Doesn't matter which arm, which order, how you split that up.
5 of those.
So I know it's a little weird remotely to go running through that thing very quickly. I know that obviously the coach has got it. Doc, you good? You guys feel like this is explainable for people that may watch this later?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fine.
If not, there's always YouTube.
Yeah.
Sweet. You will never see me on a YouTube saying, "This is how your Turkish get up." All right. So might need help with my own shoe back on. Let me. I'll give you guys a minute to kind of plan this out as I reconstruct the wall here.
Doc's like, I'm out of here.
Turkish get-ups? No way.
I think he just got in his car and drove away.
Nah. I think Doc likes the wall walks.
I've done freaking Turkish get-ups like 3 times this week. I'm not looking forward to doing them again.
That's a strange thing to do multiple times in a week.
I've been doing shoulder stability work.
Right? Yeah. No, I mean it's one of those things like it's good, I get it, but Jesus, they're awful.
They are quite.
Last time I did them in the building, when you had them on a normal class, I almost killed myself because I grabbed the biggest bell and did a set of 3. And there were times where it was about to drop on my skull. It was.
Oh yeah.
Legitimately.
Like 1 degree off, and all of a sudden that strength just gravity wins.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to sit down for that. But yeah, you guys could jump into the warm up when ready to review 3 of the wall walks with 4 shoulder taps when you get to your furthest. Again, try to get as close to the wall as possible without sticking your sternum out. And if it's not as close as Kristen got, that's fine. Just get as close as you can get with a hollow position. 4 shoulder taps, 5 Turkish get-ups. Collect those up in the next, say, 7 or 8 minutes. No rush, no order. Sit down. Now I got air clapping stuff in my head.
Are you watching the wish?
Air clapping. Peter Cetera. Does not sound like Eric Clapton plays blues. That's why when I sung it, I went, "God damn old walking blues."
Oh, it's too much.
Yeah, especially with us out of practice on those get-ups, Doc. If you got anything, you got a car sponge in there, you want to take your shoe off and use it. Being in the position is really the bigger key than pushing a lot of load.
All right, 5 on each arm.
No, just 5 total.
Okay.
So it's not a number, but. Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely need you through. Run.
One time through or more?
One time through, just collect those up. We got plenty of other stuff on the old agenda for today. If you notice with like the portal thing is like kind of mobility, but it's also kind of a part A. And I've thrown that in a few times this week. So like there's the hollow hole thing.
Oh, I forgot about the hollow hold.
Convenient. I also didn't tell Kristen about the hollow hole. Convenient. It's probably one of the worst things for me to try. British get-ups are basically shoulder stability and the ability to punch that up to the ceiling. Those are the two. If I punch it up, I'm fine. Like I literally look like when Emma tries to sit up if there's too much weight. I'm like, but if I get to that position where I'm here, then I'm fine. Wider in the back. absolutely no rush. Just give me a signal when you're ready. Sweet. All right, let's talk some mobility. All right, so we're going to be going into a little bit of a lunge motion here. So Kristen, if you can get one knee down, one knee ahead. So we're going to start by getting into here, and then just starting that kind of forward pulse here, trying to get into range, keeping this front heel down as much as possible so that we're getting into that front ankle, but also getting into the front hip flexor here, flexing the butt on that same glute side, so that you're getting a real nice opening here without opening up the rib cage, right? So you can see Kristen's not arching out here, but she is getting that kind of opened up, getting into the hip flexor really well. Just keep pulsing and keep kind of pushing the further as you go. Make sure we get a minimum of 10 of those. On that 10th, hold the furthest range as much as you can. Again, don't arch your hips here. Get it forward, yeah. And then from that, we'll hold for 15 seconds. Don't let it go though. Reach up high, holding the same distance there. Try to get as much of this without any of that opening. Good, good position. Yeah. And then relax. Kick that foot thrust into a pigeon. And then just lean down into a pigeon. Just make sure that on that pigeon that your knee or your foot doesn't come in close. Keep it far away from your body, so you definitely need to get a little bit more space out there so you can really get into that posterior. And again, pulse into that pigeon a little bit. Just like baby push-ups. You got a lot of rip yoga mat all over you right now.
I know.
And after you pulse 10 times on the pigeon, then go ahead and hold your furthest range that you have. Again, more important than your depth to the ground, you need to straighten out that leg. When that foot starts to collapse in, you're really just kind of putting pressure on the outside of your knee. You're not really getting the piriformis involved. The further away that you get that, the better stretch you're going to get, better butt stretch. And hold furthest position for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax, switch sides. We start with the same thing where we kind of jut that hip forward. Again, keep this guy, don't open up here, keep it nice and tight. Flex the butt on that side. Try to not allow those shoulders to open up and get a little bit of this as you come forward. Keep that heel slammed down on the front foot so you're also getting into that ankle a little bit. And test that threshold every time you pulse. Go a little further, a little further. On number 10, hold the furthest position. Flex the butt, straight rib cage. Reach up high. Wait for this position there. Looks really good. And relax. relax, drop into a pigeon. And just 10 baby push-ups, and then hold that bottom range for 15. Your dog's birds. It's so peaceful. And then relax. Done. All right. Sweet. Hopefully we got some good open hip flexors. The first is like a little subpart A of this guy, and that is to collect up 2 minutes in a hollow hold. So we all are pretty familiar, but let's go ahead and show what the hollow looks like. Kristen's gonna lie down here. Pick her feet straight up in the air in a 90-degree angle. And then slowly lower them while still reaching with these hands to bring the shoulders up. Still reach with those hands. 6 inches off the ground. She's going to lock those heels together by flexing her butt. She looks like she's going to stab me, which means she's in the right position. And that's a great hollow. Go ahead and relax. Again, if we're super advanced, go ahead and put those hands up overhead, but not really as necessary because as they kind of explained to us in the gymnastics class, they said, if you got an athlete who can hold that straight for 2 minutes, then go ahead and advance into their hands over. But since you don't have any human beings capable of that, allow them to cheat to try to get the longer hold in the midsection first. But what I've got here, I'm going to start up a 4-minute and 30-second clock for you to collect up 2 minutes worth of hollow. So if you have to do that 15 on, 15 off, you've got more than enough time to get that done. By the end, you could probably cheat a little bit on those breaks. So again, collect up 2 minutes of your own. Doesn't matter if the sets are 5 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, or whatever. Doesn't matter how long your breaks are. You got 4 minutes and 30 seconds to collect up that amount of time. Cool? Super close so you can see the clock real well. All right, folks, assume the position. Doc, you good?
Yeah, so we're not doing the rest of it yet?
Yeah, I'm just going to do that separate so that the AMRAP doesn't get confusing.
Okay.
So we'll just try to collect up 2 minutes in, and we'll cap it. I
Okay.
am counting it down now. Again, it's not like you have to start at the beat because it's your own pace. There's your clock. Ironically, Jen is in a position where I can't see the height of her feet. Interesting. Pull-ups. Sure.
Because I'm jumping down. Yeah. Sure.
Oh, now I can see the tops of those feet super high off the ground. Remember about hollow, the more miserable it is, the more correct you probably are. Fighter's already done, huh? Ryder took that as a personal challenge. Can you hold it for the 2 straight minutes? And he was like, yep. Got about 45 seconds left to collect up what you can. Again, your personal total only has to hit 2 minutes. Twenty seconds. Jen's sit-up right there looked like one of my sit-ups in a while. Slow motion. Slow Mobius. All right, folks. Come back and join me here. And we'll talk WOD. Bless you. So, Doc, where are you at, sir?
Here.
Sweet. So now for the main event, it's a 12-minute AMRAP, as many laps as you can do. The order of the movements: handstand walking, lunge walking, broad jumping, gorilla walking. Handstand walking can be substituted with a very tall bear crawl. Get those heights. Woo! Get those hips hiked up as much as you can. Maybe if you want to display that for me. So, yep. And then you just kind of walk across from there, nice and high, get into your toes a little bit. Obviously, we're a little cramped, so the display is not going to be ideal. So that's the substitute. If you are handstand walking, obviously, I know the 2 of you guys will. You should know the basics of how that's going to look. Jen, keep in mind what we did on the wall walk today. You do have a big habit of pushing that sternum through and getting a little KK-ish with it. So make sure that we remain tight. The reason why we warmed up with a hollow is because this is the position of a handstand walk. If you can see where I hide my butt and I've got my rib cage tucked down in a hollow, and try to maintain that as much as possible. When you feel like you have to cheat forward, point your toes, squeeze your butt, right? Don't cheat forward here, cheat forward here, and cheat forward with those toes. Point them up tall. When you point your toes, you tend to get PR type walks. Lunge walk. Plain and simple. If you really want to challenge yourself in head weight, you have to, but it's not required. It's just lunging down and then alternating the other leg down. Right? Plain and simple. Broad jumping, we are not going to display here because I don't want, although Kristen doesn't necessarily have a huge vertical leap, I don't necessarily need her going through the ceiling. to have to repair myself, the wife, and the garage in 1 week would be too much. Just make sure that as we're doing it, we are going as explosive as possible. This is unfortunately all the range I can kind of give you here, but make sure that it's pop as we drive through to minimize the amount of times that it takes to jump those 25 feet. As you're floating through the air, become a human meatball and tuck as much as possible into the landing. And that'll just kind of lengthen those jumps out a little bit. Former track and field star right here. And then the gorilla walk is, so if this is Kristen's path right here, she's going to turn to the side, right? Like she has been doing, hold on. She has been handstand walking and lunge walking like this, only now she's going to go like this, right? And then putting her feet down ahead of her foot, putting her hands down ahead of that foot. No, put your hands down in front of.
In front of my feet
This
is here.
is the track. Put your hands down.
Oh. What do you want me to do?
So putting the hands down in front of the foot that you have.
Okay.
And then hopping the feet over into the next step. Just like that. Did that visual help?
That looked exactly like a gorilla.
Exactly.
Well, you know.
I think we're all very well aware that I would do the greater gorilla impression if I could, being part gorilla. Doc, did that make sense, though?
Yeah. What about?
We're walking our hands like if this is my course here, and then hopping my feet over as I project up on the hands.
Check it out, Doc. I'll demo across the room so you can see a little bit better visual.
Yeah, if you can see Ryder, that may help too. Sorry, I think I tore my hamstring the other day.
For the handstand walks, what about going to the wall and doing shoulder taps?
Sure. If that's where the developmental would be, I would say 25 feet should probably be, like if you did like maybe 8 each shoulder.
Okay.
Another thing that's an awesome drill too, if you want to kind of get a little more advanced on the developmental part of that, is if you've got well, I use an eraser at the gym, or a lot of people use like the big sponge that you use to wash a car. Put that in line with your head as you walk up, and then move it 1, 2. You know what I mean? Like actually pick up and move that piece of equipment. You know, that very light, very small handful of something, and move it to the side, the sponge drill. Fantastic for developing that weight shift ability in the handstand walk.
And then when you do it, do you touch the opposite shoulder or this shoulder?
Doesn't matter. The key that whenever you're doing the taps or a sponge shift, the biggest key is your ability to stack your weight on this.
Okay.
More important than where that opposite hand goes, because that's just coming off the ground. When I do them, when I'm warming up, I'll usually go same, but I'll also sometimes hit here, and then as I get a little more warmed up, I'll actually hit my thigh, because that stops me from cheating out like a starfish. But again, that's just as I've kind of warmed up and got a little more used to it. But yeah, it doesn't necessarily matter. The art form is finding, like I say, hip in line here with all your weight on that stack, because otherwise people have a real tendency to become that car at the end of the Flintstones, where they're flopping out so much that you can get through your shoulder taps, and then you get off the wall and you just fall in that direction. So really finding that stack is the key skill development. Sweet. So gang, we will I'll give you about a minute or 2 here, as soon as everybody's ready to go, and we'll start lapping. Again, the order of operations: handstands, then lunging, which is a walking lunge, then broad jumping, then gorilla walking. 12 minutes, as many laps as possible.
How far?
If you've got about a 25-footish course to work with.
So you got 25 feet each thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just like go out with the handstand, come back with the lunge, or in your case, you'll do the wall with the handstand,
Yeah.
then go out with the lunge, come back with the broad jump, so on and so forth.
And it's just those 3 things?
There's 4 total, but if you're going to be on the wall for 1, then it won't be quite the same. But it's handstand walk, lunge walk, broad jump, gorilla walk.
Oh, okay. Can't see the bottom. Okay. Gorilla walk. Okay. Handstand. Let me turn this. There. Okay.
You almost ready?
Walk. Handstand
We're ready.
walk, lunge walk, broad jump, gorilla.
Jump, gorilla.
Corrira.
Oh my God.
Gorilla. Oh.
I can't hear your handstand critique, can you just let me know after?
Okay. I can just shout
No,
it.
if you can't hear it.
The what?
How long is the gym? Just so a reference of what 25 feet is.
Jim's what, like
About 10 meters is just about 25 feet. It's a little bit
Oh.
less.
It's like between the cones at the gym.
Okay.
Have fun.
All right, folks.
For me, lunging, Doc, it's about 8 or 9 lunges for me to do 10 meters.
And about for Ryder, it's like 3 jumps with like a foot to spare.
Yeah.
But no,
jumps.
but Doc's jump is really strong too, so he's probably 3 to 4 jumps.
3 or 4. Yeah.
I not using Ryder as a reference, but probably use Jen as a reference.
No,
Big-
Doc,
4
your-
jumps.
Yeah, your jumping is definitely ahead of
Our lunges would be about the same. We're about the same height, so
Yeah.
It's all right. Let them be like me.
no. You already have
All right, folks. Let's get ready to rumble. Like to thank my wife for not stabbing me during Turkish get-ups and hollow holes. Woo!
Oh, it's definitely worse. Definitely.
All right, folks, we are counting down from 10, 12-minute AMRAP. 3, 2, 1, go. Jen? It was great. It was great. There was you fell when you fatigued, right? Which isn't the worst problem in the world.
Oh.
A little sloppy, but I'll live with it. Remember, Jen, if you can't see your thumbs, your head's in the wrong position. Better. Looking good, gang. Looking good. Keep it up. There you go, Doc. Looking good. It looked really sweet until you turned around and gave her the posterior view, Ryder. Halfway mark. Eight-minute mark. 10-minute mark. Two-minute warning. Final minute. Get those reps in. Ryder just bunny hopped. 5 seconds. 2, 1, time. Nice work, guys. Commitment to cool down. I would get a little wrist and forearm stuff done, whether you get into what we do typically, where we get into these kind of wrist movements back and forth, or if you want to take lacrosse ball and hit that as well, because both the handstand walk or bear ball and the gorilla walker kind of get work on those wrists and forearms a little bit. Otherwise, if you do have something that's tight in the hip and you need to work it, by all means work it. But make sure that we have that commitment to do so. Jen.
Let me have it.
So I just have one thing that, let's talk triage here. Your homework is to review this video after I post it, because you've got the rare opportunity to not only see yourself the entire time, but also look at somebody right next to you who's doing this part of it a lot better. Your head position's a lot of it, right? Like where your head goes is where you're going. And when this tilts up, it's Ryder and I were talking the other day about like how you get some modicum of success doing things the wrong way, right? When I learned how to Olympic lift, the reason why I suck at them still is because I could grip and rip, and I was strong enough to cheat my way through class and still be the strong guy, even though I was doing it completely wrong. And the same thing happens with the handstand walks. You see the pros on TV, and they're all very scorpion. It seems like, and then you can get a few steps scorpioning. tangent aside, when your head comes up, sternum comes up. When the sternum comes up, hollow breaks. When hollow breaks, hips open up, and that's where the entire mess starts to come from. The first couple of kick-ups, when your head was in a good position, flawless. Then you got fatigued about halfway, you kicked down, it's not a big deal. But then as fatigue set in, you really started looking for that next step. You started looking for that target. And you can see Ryder's head position right next to yours on some of these. And I think that'll help clarify quite a bit. So while you're here looking, he's here in a perfect strict press. And right at 7 minutes, there was a point where Ryder even got a little fatigued, and you can see at the beginning of his walk, he's a little open. And then there's like a step where he kind of adjusts and comes right back in his perfect form and then finishes it unbroken.
I think I noticed that.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, that's that guy, but prime example of what we're talking about. You and I have the same problem with that, with the head position. And that's what Andy's always talking about. You should be able to see your thumbs. You should be able to read the note on the box, like we did that one drill that one time, because it's just going to keep everything still compact and not allow the mess to start coming down into the chain, if that makes sense.
Mess.
So, but like I say, the first couple rounds, it looked really, really good. And then when you fell, it was fatigue. And that's just practice, right?
It was hard. Okay,
I
not
think
bad.
any and all problems can be resolved as soon as they have in a good position.
I like it. I got 3 rounds of it.
Yeah. There were a lot of good walks there too. It's just, you got to realize that it's sometimes the successes you've had are despite it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I said, the games athletes give us a terrible example of how it's actually done. Ryder definitely kicks up like an actual gymnast. That's what I've been working to learn to gymnastics course and dealing with Andy's obnoxious ass. But that's the way that normal people need to learn it, instead of trying to get into the big scorpion, which winds up with injuries and all the rest. So, as we have seen. Sweet. All right, folks. Heck of a job. I'm going to try to stand up now.
Arriba!
There we go. I'm doing pistols to get up and down every single time now. And on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3.
I gotta do that too.
Woo! We will see
All right.
you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow
That
is equally as punishing, but not as complicated.
All right, thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.